pitch my own version of that, which is Zoetrope. This requires me, by my own imposition, to do an extended impression of Mickey Mouse. So, if you came here expecting like a highbrow evening, I don't know what to tell you. I'm really sorry. I'm just gonna go for it, right? So, interior, kitchen, night. Anton Ego, famed food critic, comes to on the floor of a grimy, dark kitchen. His ankle shackled, chained, leaning off into the distance. He's lit only by the dim blue light of the bug traps that buzz intermittently. He looks around. He has no idea how he's got here. It's filthy. This restaurant has been closed for years. There are dirty dishes piled up in sinks. The walls are just dripping with mold and grime and dirt. And he's food critic. He's not happy. And he looks up, and in front of him he sees a really thin young man with a shock of red hair, dressed in a chef's garb. And his apron is splattered with dark stains the colour of rust. His mouth is duct tape shut, and his eyes have this wild fear in them. Very unnaturally, this young man lifts up his chef's hat, and underneath is the dirtiest rat Anton Ego has seen in his life, gripping this boy's hair in its tiny little paws and pulling on them like some grotesque puppeteer. Its eyes stare daggers at the critic. It's full of hatred and venom. It tugs on a few strands of hair, and the young man's arm pulls up a cassette player and presses play. Sorry about this. Also, I'm trying not to go really gory here. So close your ears if you have to. But, so the cassette player plays. Hello, Mr. Ego. I want to play a game. For too long, you have disparaged the hard work of others from behind the guise of so-called criticism. You claim to love food, yet gleefully tear down the creativity and passion displayed by those who dedicate their life to its preparation. Indeed, your negative words drove Chef Gusteau into an early grave. You do not cherish your food, but now, through being tested, you may find redemption. Before you lies the key to your salvation. Ego looks down, and on the ground in front of him is a scuffed and filthy gastronomic dome. The young man leans down and lifts it up, and underneath is a steaming bowl of casserole. You wrote once that your taste for ratatouille was your sole connection to your own mother. Though you may find this particular dish differs notably from your provincial childhood, ratatouille is traditionally free of meat. Not this time. You may find connection to your mother in this dish. In fact, you may find that your mother is in fact a key ingredient. Ego doesn't really know what to think at this point. He's starting to feel a little frantic. I think he's now just processing the fact that he's being spoken to by a rat by recording. The game is simple. You have 30 seconds to eat the ratatouille. If you do, your freedom and transformation will be upon you. If you fail, you will never leave this kitchen. Timer starts on the wall. Big red letters. Numbers. 30 seconds. Starts counting down impatiently. There is a rusty spoon sticking out of the casserole. Casserole is lumpy, filled with, you can imagine. Yes. He dips the spoon in. He holds it up. And he tries not to smell it. But he does. And it's rank. And the time is counting down. Passes 20 seconds. He holds it up to his mouth and he tries to gather the will to just shut it down. All he knows is that he has to swallow. But he doesn't swallow if he doesn't love the food. So, 10 seconds pass, and then 10 seconds. And he shoves it in, and he tries not to taste it, but he does. And he's got a very refined palate. He comes straight back up. He retches and retches and retches. And the timer hits 0. And suddenly the chain on his leg grows taut. There's a rattling sound, and he starts to be dragged backwards into the dark recesses of the pantry. He turns around and he hears a sort of scuffling, scurrying, and a lot of squeaking. And then one of the last things he sees reflected in the dim light is hundreds of pairs of tiny rodent eyes. And as he disappears into the darkness, the tape says one last thing. Bon appetit! Yeah, so